Afternoon. We acknowledge that we are in the traditional lands of the Blackfoot Nations, which includes the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Iyethka, Nakota, Wiskautabay Nations of Chiniki, Bearspaw, Goodstoney, and the Tsuut'ina Nation. Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, including the Battle River Territory. We recognize and thank all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have lived on and cared for this land for generations. Thank you for joining us. Today we have an update on the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. We will be hearing from General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, and Mayor Jeremy Farkas. We will hear their remarks, and then there will be an opportunity to ask questions after. We ask that you keep your questions limited to one question and one follow-up. I will now turn the podium over to General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Thompson, General Manager of Infrastructure Services. Today marks a huge milestone in our reinforcement work on the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. Before getting into the details, I want to start by thanking again Calgarians and our neighbours in Airdrie, Chestermere, Strathmore and Tsuut'ina Nation for the actions you continue to take to reduce your water use. You're the reason we're able to safely reach milestones like the one I'm going to share today. We are now entering the next stage of our work, where we carefully refill the main, test the water, ensure it's safe before returning it back to service. I'll walk you through what this means, what you can expect to see, and why continuing to take action to reduce water use still matters. We have now successfully backfilled all 9 segments of the pipe, and we are preparing to repave the section. Our overall water demand will appear higher on the next few days. This is not a concern, as it is not placing additional demand on the Glenmore Water Treatment Plant. We are filling the pipe slowly and deliberately to minimize spikes in pressure and watching closely for any signs of issues with the pipe while we do this. When the filling is complete, we will move on to collecting water quality samples and testing. Again, this is a process that takes time to ensure your water is safe to drink. Once the water is deemed safe by our regulators, we will begin the process of starting to flow water through the pipe. I know people are eager to know when restrictions will lift. I am too. On Monday, we will have another update on our progress and timelines. As I've said before, there is no guarantee that this pipe will not break again. Because of this, we are working with the directly impacted communities to discuss what another potential feeder main break might look like and help them be prepared in case the pipe does break again. Today we are sharing information directly with residents in Montgomery and Bowness about how they can prepare. We will continue to keep these channels of communication open through this year until the new replacement pipe is operational. And in the interest of transparency, I want to touch on something that happened earlier this week. On Tuesday afternoon, a day after we refilled section 3 of the pipe by the Shaganappi pump station, we discovered that there was unexpected water in a second section of the pipe. Upon investigation, we determined that the cause was an issue with the new valve, which was installed at the Shaganappi pump station, which allowed water to seep by it. This issue has now been fixed, and it may have been a cause of the higher than expected water demand, which we saw on Monday. Water storage in our underground tanks has remained high through the week, and we do not anticipate any impact to our project schedule from this issue. As for traffic, lane closures remain in place to allow crews to complete the work including repaving the sites. As I mentioned on Monday, there will be an additional lane closure on 16th Avenue near 44th Street starting next week for construction related to the replacement pipe. Please plan ahead, follow signage, and give crews the needed space to work safely. Again, we thank you for your patience. You're continuing to do your part to save water, and we continue to be in the green zone on most days. Yesterday, our total water use was 483 million litres. I want to be very clear. Although we are moving into the next phase of our work, we are not out of the woods yet. Until water is flowing through the pipe, we are still constrained by the amount of water that we can move from our plants to your taps. Taking action to reduce water use is still critical. I want to acknowledge again that I know this has not been easy, so thank you for your continued efforts. And as a reminder, our daily goal is to reduce water use by 25 litres per person each day. Please keep focusing on 3 everyday actions. Flush toilets only when necessary. Each skipped flush saves about 5 litres of water. Keep showers to 3 minutes. Every minute less saves about 8 litres of water. And run dishwashers and washing machines only with full loads. Dishwashers use around 28 litres of water a cycle, and a front load washing machine uses around 62 litres. So even one less cycle a day can meet or exceed your daily target. These simple actions really do add up when hundreds of thousands of households work together. As we have been discussing, using water wisely is a year-round effort, whether under restrictions or not. Next week, we'll be again talking about the water efficiency plan with committee, discussing the longer-term approach to managing this important resource. We're getting close, but we are not out of the woods yet. Over the next few days, we will be moving ahead in a measured, deliberate way with a focus on stability and safety as we work to start flowing water through the pipe. Your continued actions to reduce water use are what allow us to move forward safely. So Calgary, let's stay in the green zone. Keep sharing your actions with your neighbours, colleagues, friends, and family. And a reminder that you can find information and updates on calgary.ca/savewater. Thanks to all for your patience, your actions to reduce water use, and for your support. And thank you to our teams who have done the hard work to get us here and who continue to do this work safely and carefully as we move through the home stretch. I'll now turn it over to Mayor Farkas.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you as well, GM Thompson. Calgary, just about 3 weeks ago, we asked each and every one of you to make real changes in your day-to-day routines so we could deliver critical repairs to the Bearspaw South Feeder Main, a pipe that carries nearly 60% of Calgary's clean drinking water. And Calgary, you have stepped up. I am so encouraged by what we've seen from our families, our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues, business owners, and private citizens. From every corner in the city, people have come together and helped keep Calgary in the green zone for the overwhelming majority of these restrictions. Now, we are in a position where the end is in sight. We knew that our world changed two summers ago when the Bearspaw South Feeder Main first broke. And then again on December 30th, 2025, we were reminded just how serious this problem is. And that's why we put forward a plan to protect this pipe as best we can while moving at lightning speed to deliver a replacement line and solve this problem once and for all. That's thanks to the incredible work of our city crews and the diligence of our administration, led by GM Thompson. We are on track to deliver a project that would normally take 4 years in less than 1. And those efforts don't stop with the replacement. Crews working on the existing feeder main have been there around the clock, sun or snowstorm, focused on getting the job done right, safely, and as quickly as possible so that we can return to our normal routines. Friends, we are almost there. So thank you to everyone who has stepped up. Throughout this planned shutdown, we've asked people to be water heroes, and every single Calgarian has proved that they are all water heroes. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. But as GM Thompson said, we are not out of the woods just yet. These repairs, while nearly complete, are still underway, and we need to come together for just a little bit longer. We also need to be clear. Even with these repairs, this pipe remains terminally ill. It can still break at any time, and we may still face additional water restrictions outside of this planned shutdown. But you can rest assured, your city is doing absolutely everything possible to prevent that, and we're moving at record-setting pace to deliver a permanent solution. So as we look toward the light at the end of the tunnel, or perhaps the pipe, we're doing incredibly well. For just a bit longer, we need to stay focused by limiting our showers to 3 minutes, by flushing only when necessary, and running dishwashers and washing machines only when full. These are small steps that help us save the additional 25 liters of water per person per day that keeps us in the clear and moving forward. So Calgary, we are almost there. Every single day, you are showing exactly why this is not just the greatest city in Canada, but one of the greatest cities anywhere in the world. We're proving what it means to come together as Team Calgary, meeting this challenge head on and getting through it. As one city, as one community. And because of that, I'm again reminded of how much of an honor and privilege it is to serve as your mayor. So thank you, and we're very happy to answer your questions.
This question will be for GM Thompson to start. Just some, back of napkin math. 2 or 3 days to refill, and then I would imagine the 24 hours to test the water. Best case scenario, could we be out of water restrictions by mid next week?
So question, when will we be out of water restrictions? And we don't have that right now. We started on March 9th and we said this would take about 4 weeks. We're on schedule as we work through things right now. We're excited to be starting to refill the pipe tomorrow. This is always a challenging time. When the surface work is done, it looks like everything is complete, but there's a lot of work that has to happen underground, refilling the pipe, taking the time to test the water to ensure that it meets the stringent quality control that we need to ensure it's safe, and then starting to bring the pipe back online. We go slow and deliberate as we're working through this. So we appreciate Calgarians' patience as we go through these steps. And again, why it's so important that we all continue to take those actions to reduce water use while we're still working with this pipe out of service.
Quick technical follow-up. Can the work be done, can the repaving of the road or repaving of the areas be done at the same time as the pressure is increased, or is there a danger there? And sort of semicolon, what are the dangers that could set us back?
Yeah, so question really, can we do that surface work while the pipe is refilling and as we're working to bring the pipe back into service? And the answer is yes. We will be working on that surface work at the same time as we're working to refill the pipe as we go forward. And then the question, what are we watching for? And so there's always issues as we've experienced, and as we've said before, and as the mayor said, this pipe is terminally ill. And so it's not just the sections that we did the reinforcement work on. Those sections actually are the ones that we're the most confident in now. It's the remainder of the pipe that we know has issues and that we have to live with until we have that replacement pipe constructed and operational in December of this year. And so what we'll be doing is watching and listening the pipe. We'll be listening for wire snaps. We'll be watching for pipe spikes in pressure in the water as we're refilling the pipe and as we're bringing it back into service. And then also the water quality testing. Sometimes that can take longer as we have to make sure that the water is safe to drink. We will always focus on safety over time.
Any other questions?
You spoke about cloudy water in the north last time. Is that still an issue? Has that been fixed? And how areas should expect anything else?
And so a question around the cloudy water, and that's really turbidity as we bring the pipes back into service. So we did have some calls regarding the turbidity in the north. I believe that's all been resolved. As we bring the Bearspaw South Feeder Main back into service, we can expect to see similar conditions. We've seen that in the past every time we bring it back in. Again, the water will be safe to drink, and we'll let Calgarians know more about that as we get closer to bringing the pipe back into service.
Sure. Going back to the December 30th break, there were some issues when we had to stop the water and we had water restrictions. There were issues with Calgarians meeting that, even at that time, 485, but even staying under 500. What would you attribute Calgarians' ability to keep it under 500 mostly over the past 3 weeks?
Yeah, so question really around what would we attribute Calgarians' great success in staying under 500 million litres. And we've been here before. The community's been here before. Calgarians know what to do. And just a huge thank you and shout out to Calgarians and our neighbours in Airdrie, Chestermere, Strathmore and Tsuut'ina for doing that. Like we've seen, there's only been a couple of days out of the last almost 3 weeks where we've been in the red zone. And Calgarians really are taking those simple actions to reduce their water use. I really appreciate the team at the city working to get the message out, using a number of new tactics to get the message out, to everyone here for helping get the message out, and for Calgarians in the communities to talk to your neighbours, your family, your friends, your co-workers, just about the need to reduce your water use during this period. So just a huge thank you to Calgarians. I know we're asking a lot. We're in the home stretch, we're almost there. But as I've said before, we're not out of the woods yet, and we have to keep reducing water use until we have the pipe back in service.
What type of conversations are you all having with the people in Bowness and Montgomery?
And so question around the discussions with community members in Bowness and Montgomery. And so we've sent information out today just about what would happen if the pipe breaks again, potential impacts to residents. And so what would flooding look like if the pipe breaks again? There's no guarantee it won't break again. We don't have any indication that it will, but we want to make sure people are aware that if the pipe breaks again, there may be flooding in their streets and potentially into their yards. And so giving them the information, we're asking them to go to our community resource center that we have in the Bowness Community Association to talk to our team. We've set up webinars with them so that they can listen to our experts and get information from us, and really about being aware and being prepared, aware and prepared for what happens should this happen again in the future.
So are there already plans for, I don't know, maybe street shutdowns if certain areas get flooded or something?
And so question about what would it look like immediately if there was a flood. And so as you've seen before, if the pipe breaks, our emergency responder team will react quickly and take the actions required to deal with whatever that situation looks like. And just a huge shout out to them for the amazing work that they do. This is really about making sure residents in the area know, because there could be water that would flow downstream a couple of blocks away from where the pipe is. We want to make sure those residents know that this is a risk until the new pipe is built. And again, we're on schedule to have that new pipe built and operational in December of this year. But until then, there's no guarantee that the existing pipe will not break. And we just want to, out of an abundance of caution, make sure the community knows that.
Last question? All right, thank you so much for coming.